You're not a bad person, you're just scared. Have you ever caught yourself lying about something so small, something that didn't even matter, and then felt that wave of shame hit you because you didn't even understand why you did it? You're not a villain. You're not trying to hurt anyone. You're just trying to feel safe. Along the way, you learned that being yourself wasn't enough. So you started adjusting, performing, becoming who you thought people needed you to be. And now, it feels like if you stopped, if you really let people see the messy, unpolished version of you, they might realize there's nothing they're worth loving. Now imagine this. You're standing in a room full of people, and they're all cheering for you. They're smiling, nodding, admiring you. But inside, you feel like a fraud. You speak, they respond, but there's this cold feeling creeping in, because deep down, you know, the person they're seeing isn't really you. You're living inside what I call a gilded cage. It looks beautiful from the outside. It even feels safe. But the very mask you built to protect yourself has quietly become your prison. The same defense that once helped you survive is now the thing holding you back. Because deep down, you want to be seen, truly seen. But at the same time, you're terrified that if the lights ever came on for real, people would see right through you. To understand why you can't seem to stop, we have to look a little deeper at something called the false self. This isn't a character flaw. It's a survival response. Something in you learned, very early on, that being your real self wasn't always safe. Maybe your feelings were ignored. Maybe they were met with anger, or only accepted when you behaved a certain way. So you adapted. You created a version of yourself that felt acceptable, a version that kept the peace. And over time, your brain got really good at it. Now, you're not just talking to people, you're reading them, scanning their faces, picking up on the smallest reactions, adjusting what you say in real time, just to stay safe. It's automatic now, and slowly, something else starts to happen. The line between what's true and what feels safe begins to blur. You're not even trying to lie. Your mind is just rewriting things on the fly, not to deceive, but to protect you. Because somewhere deep inside, your brain learned one simple rule. Safety matters more than truth. And before you even realize it, you've become incredibly skilled at avoiding anything that might put the real you at risk. Not because you're fake, but because, at some point, being real didn't feel like an option. The cost of constantly performing is a kind of quiet, invisible grief. Because deep down, you're mourning someone, the person you were never allowed to be. There's a line often attributed to Carl Jung. The most terrifying thing is to accept yourself completely. And for someone who's always had to hide, that doesn't feel freeing, it feels dangerous. So instead, you keep projecting a better version, a safer version, a more acceptable version. But without realizing it, you're sending yourself a message every single day. Who I really am isn't enough. And that does something to you over time. You start trading authenticity for belonging. You get the connection you always wanted. But because it's built on a version of you that isn't fully real, you can't actually feel it. So you end up in this painful contradiction. You're loved, but you feel alone. You're doing well, but you feel like a fraud. It's like choosing the glow of a screen over the warmth of a real fire. And the real fear? It's not even being exposed. It's the thought that if you stopped performing, if everything went quiet, you might not even recognize who you are underneath it all. And this doesn't just stay in your head, it shows up in your life. In small ways and big ones. You might lie about things that don't even matter. What you ate, what time you woke up. Because somehow, the truth feels too exposed. You adjust yourself depending on who you're around. Shifting your opinions, your tone, your personality, just to fit. When people start getting too close, you pull away. Not because you don't care, but because it feels risky for them to see too much. There's this constant anxiety in the background, like everything could fall apart at any moment. Life starts to feel less like something you're living, and more like something you're managing. And sometimes, if you're honest, you even feel a bit of resentment toward people who can just be themselves so easily. Like their honesty is a luxury you were never given. But here's the truth. These aren't personality flaws. They're survival patterns. You're not a liar. You're someone who learned how to hide really well. And the way out doesn't start with forcing yourself to be perfect. It starts with something much simpler. Awareness. Catching yourself in the moment, right before you exaggerate or adjust the story, and choosing to pause, to sit in that discomfort, and allow yourself, just for a second, to be real. Healing starts with something simple, but not easy. It starts with turning inward, with going back to that earlier version of you, the one who learned to hide, the one who felt like they had to disappear just to be accepted, and meeting that version with something different. Not pressure, not judgment, but understanding. It's learning to tell yourself, slowly, honestly, I'm allowed to be ordinary. I'm allowed to be imperfect. I'm allowed to be real. Because realness is where healing actually begins. And that means choosing something unfamiliar. Choosing softness instead of strategy. Letting go of the need to calculate every word, every reaction, every version of yourself. And realizing that one uncomfortable truth is worth more than 1,000 polished illusions. At its core, this is about becoming a person, not a performance. Not a reflection of what people expect, but someone who exists as they are. And that doesn't mean the urge to hide just disappears overnight. It won't, but it does mean something powerful shifts. You stop letting that fear run the show. You start choosing differently, even in small moments. It's like stepping out of a dark theater and into the sunlight. It feels unfamiliar, a little harsh, a little exposed. But for the first time, it's real. You're not broken. You've just been hidden. And the goal here isn't to fix yourself. It's to come back into wholeness, to come back to you. And if any part of this felt familiar, like it was speaking directly to something inside you, share it with someone who might need it too. Because sometimes the most powerful thing a person can hear is this: you are already enough. And the truth? It doesn't just set you free. It finally allows you to be seen.